What if the animals you keep encountering aren't random at all? What if that butterfly floating by your window, the bird singing just when your thoughts turn heavy, or that spider appearing quietly during moments of inner turmoil are not coincidences, but signs, not distractions, but sacred messengers from something beyond the visible world? You see, when your soul begins to shift, the universe doesn't always use words. It speaks in symbols, in quiet encounters with nature, in the language of repetition and feeling. And the creatures that show up again and again, especially in unusual ways, aren't just part of the scenery. They are part of your spiritual conversation. You noticing them isn't a mistake, it's alignment. Because when your inner world begins to awaken, the outer world reflects it. Animals are not just beings. They are mirrors, guides, and sometimes gentle warnings. And when one keeps crossing your path, it's not for nothing. Today, we explore 5 spiritual messengers. Animals that often appear during awakening. If you've been sensing something meaningful behind their presence, this is your confirmation. But listen closely. Ignoring these signs could mean overlooking the very answer your soul has been quietly asking for. This message is meant for you, and once you receive it, nothing around you will feel the same. Let's begin. The first is the butterfly, a symbol of transformation, of emergence, of shedding the old and embracing the unseen potential within. Butterflies don't just appear to decorate the moment. They arrive to disrupt it, to break the illusion of comfort. Because real transformation rarely begins with peace. It begins with restlessness, with that unsettled feeling that something in your life no longer fits. That's the cocoon breaking. That's your spirit making space for flight. When a butterfly keeps showing up, especially when you're feeling stuck, uncertain, or weighed down by past versions of yourself, it's a call to release what no longer serves you, the job that no longer resonates, the friendship that drains more than it gives, the habits that keep you small. Butterflies come to remind you that rebirth is not instant. It starts in darkness, in solitude, in surrender. The same way a caterpillar dissolves itself before becoming something new, you're being asked to let go of control and allow the transformation to happen. If butterflies keep visiting you, it's not a coincidence. It's a sacred nudge, a message that your next level requires a lighter soul, one that is no longer burdened by the old. You are not who you once were. Stop living like you are. Next comes the ant. Small, steady, and often ignored. But when ants start appearing, especially in spaces where they normally don't belong, it's a spiritual signal. It's time to rebuild your foundation. Ants don't rush. They work with purpose. Every step is part of a greater plan. And when they show up in your life, they're often pointing to the areas you've neglected, your routines, your habits, your internal structure. You may have big visions, powerful dreams, but without a solid foundation, those dreams won't hold. Ants invite you to slow down, simplify, and organize, to find clarity through structure. And more importantly, they remind you that you're not meant to do it all alone. Ants operate in community, in collaboration. They whisper, ask for help, rest when needed. Stop pretending you're fine when everything inside you is asking for space to breathe. Spiritual growth is not about doing more. Sometimes it's about clearing space, getting grounded, and honoring your limits. When ants keep returning, pay attention. They're not here to invade. They're here to help you return to alignment. Then comes the bird. These messengers don't walk into your life. They descend. Quietly, sometimes unexpectedly, but always meaningfully. A bird tapping on your window, a strange song echoing just as your mind begins to spiral, a bird landing too close, staying too long. These are not accidents, they're divine interventions. In many spiritual traditions, birds are carriers of messages from higher realms, from ancestors, from guides, from the universe itself. Each species holds a different vibration. A hummingbird arrives when joy is needed most, when sweetness feels far away. A crow, often misunderstood, comes not to signal death, but transformation, deep, personal rebirth. And that persistent melody outside your window, it's not entertainment. It's remembrance. A reminder that joy, peace, and clarity still exist, if only you're willing to pause and hear them. Birds lift your perspective. They invite you to rise above the noise, to see from a higher view. And more than anything, they come to remind you, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. And the guidance you've been seeking has been circling all along. You just have to stop, be still, and listen. And then, the spider, the silent weaver, the one who doesn't chase or force, but creates. When spiders begin showing up in your life, in corners, mirrors, dreams, it's time to examine the web you're spinning. Not the literal one, but the energetic one. The one formed by your habits, your thoughts, your beliefs. The spider arrives when cycles repeat, when emotional patterns keep looping, when the same pain wears a different face but returns again and again. She asks, not what's wrong with your life, but what are you unconsciously creating? Because whether you're aware of it or not, you are always weaving. Every decision, every reaction, every avoidance, it's all thread. And your thread creates your path. The spider doesn't force you to change. She simply continues building until you're ready to see the pattern. She's patient. She knows that real change is slow. That sacred transformation is intentional. So if you've been feeling like nothing is moving on the outside, trust that something is realigning on the inside. And if the spider keeps showing up, she's reminding you that you have the power to spin something new, something beautiful, something aligned. But only if you're willing to see your web for what it is and choose differently. Lastly, the frog, the purifier, the one who appears not to charm or entertain, but to cleanse. Frogs show up when the soul is heavy, when emotions have been buried too long, when grief has been silenced, sadness ignored, guilt pushed away. And suddenly, there it is. The frog. Unexpected, jarring, but purposeful. It comes after storms, after rain, when the ground is wet and the air smells like renewal. And that's what the frog brings. A sacred invitation to release, to cry, to exhale, to let the pain rise, not to shame you, but to finally leave. You may not have cried in years. You may have convinced yourself you're fine, but the frog knows better. It arrives when the waters inside you need to move again, when it's time to let go of what's been poisoning your spirit. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. Because when you cleanse, you make room for clarity, for courage, for new life. The frog appears not to frighten you, but to remind you. The peace you've been praying for is on the other side of your release. And when all 5 of these sacred messengers appear, when the butterfly, the ant, the bird, the spider, and the frog make their presence known in your life, it's not random. It's a spiritual sequence, a divine pattern, a deep inner awakening unfolding. You used to call it coincidence, but now you know. The butterfly was calling you to transform. The ant was guiding you to rebuild. The bird sang of divine intervention. The spider revealed your patterns. And the frog came to purify your soul. These creatures didn't show up to decorate your life. They came to awaken it. Because once you start noticing the signs, once you begin seeing the patterns, you can't unsee them. The universe doesn't shout. It whispers. Through wings, through webs, through unexpected visitors in your path. And only those ready to see with new eyes will truly understand. You're not crazy. You're not imagining this. You're not alone. You're being initiated into deeper awareness, into a life where everything, every creature, every moment, every shift has meaning. So now I ask you, if you've heard this and something in your spirit stirred, if you feel the call resonating inside you, declare it. Comment below. The universe is speaking. I'm finally listening. Let it mark this moment. Let it echo in your energy. Because from this point on, you don't walk the same path. You walk it with fire, with vision, with deep spiritual knowing. Go now. Become who the signs always knew you were becoming. Awakened, aligned, unstoppable.